YouTube has never been more competitive, and I should know. Over the past 7 years, I've tried vlogging, educating, Fortniting? Oh my, how did that get in there? And diving even deeper into this obsession, I started helping other entrepreneurs leverage the platform. Adding an extra 100,000 subscribers to this entrepreneur's vlogging channel, thousands of leads to this entrepreneur's niche education channel, and much more. So today, I'll give you the 7 lessons that took me 7 years of testing and failing to learn to turn your own channel into a client-generating machine. Let's start with murdering your darlings. So first one, a little edgy. This concept was introduced to me by the editor and YouTuber Hayden Hillier-Smith. What it means is that whenever you're producing work, typically more of a creative, artistic style of work, like creating YouTube videos, don't just keep something in the video because you have some emotional attachment to it. Don't just keep it in because you simply like it. Keep only the things that make the work stronger. Because if you diminish the work by having an emotional bias, your work will be pushed out to less people. Therefore, the entire piece by itself will be seen by less and be less impactful. Since we're running this channel like a business owner with the goal of generating leads and getting clients, we should be creating every video for our ICP. You can sprinkle creativity into it, but don't get too caught up with that. Create what your ideal client actually wants to watch. And if you really want to get creative, you can launch a second channel if you have this like urge to just create some cinematic masterpieces every now and then that don't really lean into your business, and you can just post them up there. The second lesson is to sharpen your axe before chopping the wood. So Abraham Lincoln has this quote: "Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, and I'll spend the first 4 sharpening the axe." If we're trying to create a proper analogy here and reference it for these YouTube videos, sharpening the axe is essentially perfecting each individual video, while chopping at the tree is each attempt at YouTube success. The better each individual video is, the less videos it will take to see significant results. So rather than aiming at just sheer volume and posting a ton of content that's honestly crap, focus on quality over quantity and making each video, each sentence, each word in the title, each subject in the thumbnail a lot more thought out and intentional. You know, do market research, use the outlier method that I teach in my content. Create titles that are limited in words but are extremely impactful for your ICP. Create thumbnails with 3 subjects or less. Have the colors and contrast thought out. Purposely plan the thumbnail before you actually record. Sit down, take an image for the thumbnail that's specifically for that video. When it comes down to growing on YouTube, you can do things extremely scalable. You can have very systemized processes, but at the end of the day, this is a creative work and you need to have a little bit of friction in order to get the best quality work out there. If you can have one video blow up, it's much more beneficial than having a bunch of weak videos out there that diminish the quality of your brand and reach less people in total. What I always tell myself and what I tell everyone I work with is that the success of your video is determined before you click record. So make sure your pre-production is on point. All right, and the third lesson I learned in the past 7 years is to just test shit early. And by the way, if you make it to the end of this video and you feel like you want to work with me one-on-one to get personalized help on executing on the things I teach you here, you can schedule a time to chat with the top link in the description. A very simple mindset shift and mental framework that you need to adopt when you're trying to grow on YouTube is that if you have a bad video, no one's going to see it. The way YouTube works is it only pushes out videos that are good. When each aspect, from the title to the thumbnail to the intro to the value to the payoff to the structure to the filmmaking to every single aspect is perfected, then it's going to push the video out. So if you have a video that isn't as great as it could be, but you're just testing something to see if it's good, it's gonna get pushed to limited amounts of people. Therefore, it's not embarrassing. You're putting yourself out there. Sure, you're trying something new, but since not many people are seeing it, it's not gonna feel like you just ruined your image because your reputation is still upheld since not everyone's actually seeing that video. So that's why, like, you should just try things. If it doesn't work, no one's gonna see it anyways, so it doesn't hurt you. Especially early on, like experiment early. Take the risks while you still don't have a large audience that's gonna be critiquing you constantly. I promise you, a lot of the big YouTubers out there, even people that you watch, wish they experimented with more styles early on. Styles that were easier to make, more replicable, more aligned with them and how they actually like to speak to the camera. Because once you find a style that works, once you start to adopt the audience that is stuck to one individual style and that sees you as this certain avatar and this certain authority, you kind of have to keep up with that, or else you should just start a new channel or like restructure how you do things. Once the algorithm starts pushing your videos to a certain demographic, it's going to continue pushing it to that demographic, and it's hard to make it switch. So don't build your foundation off a style that you don't like. Rather, experiment with styles that you do like until you find something that is sustainable. Try different camera angles, different styles, different formats. Just have fun with it at the beginning and just see what works. You don't need to have a very tight-knit brand on the first upload. You can experiment with it and adopt it as you go on. Your first 10 uploads are essentially you trying to find your voice. And after the first 10 uploads, you can start to narrow down your process and your style and your voice online into a very specific process and art. But when you're starting off, just relax, post what you feel like your audience wants and, you know, slowly adopt it over time. Use data based on each video, how well things performed, what the comments are saying, what you feel like you enjoy the most, and use that to come to a very specific style that you can repeat over time. The fourth lesson is to treat YouTube like an ecosystem. You want to be very intentional with each upload. Ask yourself, what is the goal of this? What am I trying to do for my viewer to get them closer to booking a call with me, to get them closer to wanting to work with me? How can you provide more value? How can you touch on their specific pain points? How can you place your CTAs better? How could each individual upload serve its own purpose? Have a top of funnel, a middle funnel, and a bottom funnel style channel, where the top of funnel is what brings in the broad audience. It's the more broad laced videos that isn't very specific and niche, but rather made for a large total addressable market. This will bring in people, this will open the floodgates, this will get YouTube pushing your content out. And then you can actually funnel people from video to video. So you can funnel people that are a much more broad audience from that top of funnel video to a middle funnel video that's more direct to your ICP. Now, every video should be speaking to your ICP, but there's a degree at how targeted you speak to them. If you're creating workout content, you could speak to men who are overweight. That could be your top of funnel video. And then you can have more specific content where you're talking about men who are overweight, who have 9-to-5 jobs, who have a family. Then you can get more specific, right? But you don't want to do that when you're just getting onto YouTube, when you're just building your audience, because if you go too niche, YouTube won't be able to find your audience. So you want to have a sort of large market and then have it funnel down throughout your uploads. And you always want to be posting those more top of funnel broad videos every now and then, while having those middle funnel and even bottom funnel videos that are a little bit slower, a little bit more specific, and solving a very specific problem. However, throughout this entire ecosystem where you're funneling people to different videos and building session time, you want to keep branding consistent so it feels like one home. People should click on one of your videos and know what to expect. They should be able to relax when on your channel because they know what style they're going to get, what colors they're going to see, what editing style, what feeling, what knowledge they're going to experience. And that's why it's an ecosystem. The fifth thing I learned is to keep things simple. Albert Einstein has a quote saying that if you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. Now, that's incredibly relevant and impactful, especially for us creators who are creating educational content. Because if you sit down and you're using a bunch of jargon and you're trying to overcomplicate things to make yourself seem smarter, that's going to turn off the people that actually want to learn from you and work with you. So try to simplify things. It's going to test your knowledge. It's going to test how well you actually understand the topic. If you can't dumb it down to like 7th grade or 8th grade reading level, then you simply don't understand it well enough. And simply put, like, viewers generally like simple concepts. They like simple packaging where there's not as much going on and they can easily understand it. They like simple value videos where they can understand every single word and every single topic you're trying to explain. They like simple editing where it doesn't feel like they're getting things thrown in their face. Simplicity wins. And the more simple you can make something, the more valuable it will be to your viewers. A funny saying that I've used for the past few years is don't try to polish a turd. Spend more time on the core essence of your brand, on the core concept, the core mission statement that you have around your content and your YouTube channel. And if you can dial that in, if you can dial in specifically who you're speaking to, how you can have repeatable formats, how you can, structure your videos properly and create real value, a real proper ecosystem that your viewers want to enter, then you're going to succeed, even if you have simple edits and no crazy thumbnails. Like, look at creators like William Brown or Charlie Morgan, where they put less effort into making their content flashy and look professional, because they understand the value they give, the topics they speak on, the simplicity they're able to convey is much more powerful than overcomplicating things and trying to look like some smart physicist. If you can't nail the basics, no YouTube hacks will save you. That's the truth. All right, and the sixth lesson is a bit controversial. So if you have an opinion on this, comment down below. I'm actually super curious to hear your thoughts on this. The lesson is don't work with an agency for your YouTube channel. Whoa. Now, all you agency founders watching this are gonna come attack me. You may genuinely think your quality of work and your processes are perfected where you're getting proper results for your clients, and maybe you are, but from my general experience, where I've even spoken to people who have worked with some of the top agencies out there that have really reputable names, and I've even experienced working with some of them myself, it looks better on the outside than it actually is. Truth is, when you have an agency and you're working with a handful of clients at once, even if it's like 7 to 10 clients, which if you're charging 5 to 10K, you're still below 6 figures a month, and you have a ton of team expenses, so you're still not making astronomically large amounts of money. And when you hit that number, if you're doing a full done for your YouTube service, you're going to be spread thin. The more clients an agency gets, the worse their work and quality of videos gets, because then they have more clients to service, they're less specific for each client, and even if they have individual teams working with each client, you have one person who's holding the vision vision together, touching on a bunch of different people at once. And when that happens, things get messy. You're going to be messaging people and getting late responses. You're going to be hit with invoices every other day, not expecting another one, but having them be like, hey, by the way, you owe us another $3,000. You're going to have to get deadlines pushed because revisions are just becoming overwhelming. You're going to see content that you genuinely do not like, but you don't have as much say in it because there's 3 layers of management below you. Things just get very complicated when you're working with an agency. My recommendation is work with an in-house team. Build your own team, build the proper systems, be able to guide the vision and be able to actually lead the team yourself. When you do that, not only do you get more specialized work, but you also get higher quality work because now these people understand your brand like it's the back of their hand and they have the actual person in the content as the visionary guiding the team. And if revising videos and scripting content and all these things become a bit overwhelming for you, you can just bring in a creative director. They're hard to find, but once you find the right one, they're there with you for life. Also, side note, you should be the one scripting your videos. Don't let some agency out there script all your content because you're the expert, not them. If you had a professional tennis player creating tutorials on how to swing the racket better, who's gonna be better at scripting that video? Is it gonna be some random guy in India who's never swung a tennis racket in their life? Or is it gonna be the person who's actually at the face of the content? All right. And the 7th lesson, the one that you've all been waiting for, the most impactful one here that is honestly gonna change the trajectory of your business if you implement it correctly, is to find your guide. Just like in the hero's journey, you know, that storytelling circle, you need to have a mentor. You need to have someone to guide you who's been in the mud before, who's been through the experience. You can go through the process of, you know, going on websites, trying to hire a team, trying to create your own systems in Notion when you barely have any experience with it, trying to figure out what the best angle to record is, how to script your content, what the best positioning is for you, how to find outlier videos, how to stand out as an authority, what style to use, what font to use, what editing style, what editor to use, how to script your content, how to structure CTAs, how to read data, how to reiterate on it, how to innovate. All these things are things that you need to understand in order to grow on YouTube. And since you're an entrepreneur, since you've spent a lot of your time maybe dabbling in YouTube, dabbling in content, but more so on the business side of things, it's very important to have someone there to guide you. And luckily enough for you, I just opened back up my one-on-one specialized solution. I'd be working directly with you to help you grow your YouTube channel for your business. You'll get access to the systems, the processes, the strategies, even the creatives who I've spoken to and vetted over the years. The price is low right now, but it's going to increase as we get more demand. So if that's something you're interested in, you can click the top link in the description and you can schedule a time to chat with me or with my business partner. He's a great guy. I promise you'll like him. So yeah, feel free to book in there and I'll speak to you soon. Also, make sure to subscribe if you like this content and want to see more.